Hi everybody, it's Carolina Millan here with another podcast episode, and today I have a special guest because he's a friend of mine. We've known each other for like 4 or 5 years. I lost count, I think five. Mr. Vince Reed. How are you, Vince?
What's going on? Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you for being here. So Vince is an expert in traffic and lead generation, conversion. So we're going to talk a lot about that today, and hopefully you guys can get some really good takeaways for your own business. So Vince, let's first introduce you a little bit more for those people listening who are not familiar with you yet. So tell us how you got started and what was your breakthrough.
Absolutely. But before I do, I just want to tell everyone listening how awesome you are.
Huh? Thank you.
And, I'm actually extremely proud of you. I mean, I've known you for a long time, as you've said. And, recently we were at the ClickFunnels funnel hacking event, and we were literally right behind each other getting our two Comma Club awards together. And I couldn't be more proud of you. So just wanted to say that.
Thank you,
And
Vince. That
continue to,
means a lot.
yeah, continue doing your thing. And you always got my support. So, yeah, my story, like a lot of people, got online trying to figure out a way to help support my family. This was back in 2007, 2008. I was in real estate. The market collapsed, and I was just trying to survive. And stumbled onto some ads that said "make money on Google." Looked into it and started to figure out that there was this whole new world that I knew nothing about that allowed me to place little ads on the internet and generate leads. And I had an aha moment right away when I realized that leads that I would purchase from my mortgage company for $50 a lead or even $100 a lead, that I could generate my own lead for literally, a few bucks. And I said, well, if I could teach other people how to do that, then maybe I have something. And now here we are a decade later, and I'm still going strong.
Nice, nice. What would you say made the difference for you? What do you think you did differently? Because we hear so many stories of people getting started. They see an ad, and they follow the steps, and somehow it doesn't work for them. What do you think you did differently that has allowed you to get the results?
You know, a couple of things. A lot of people that I coach and train, like I'll go and I'll look at their material or their capture pages or their websites, and I'll say, what would you do if you landed on your own capture page or website? Like, would you buy from you? And shocking, a lot of people say no. Like, I never would even buy or opt into my own thing. I'm like, then what makes you think people are going to do it when you're out there promoting it? And a lot of times when you're in your business, you can't really see it. So for me, I don't really like a lot of yes people around me. So in my office, like I actually will have people go, what don't you like about these things? And I'll call up people and I say, don't tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. And that's always helped me to get that feedback and that constructive criticism to help me. So I've just been blessed to have good mentors who led me in the right direction, and I just never quit. I kept working, and I think that it's simple. I think if you always have the mentality like, if I'm selling something, know that there's people out there that are looking for a solution. Like right now, there's someone on Google or YouTube looking for a solution to a problem that they're having. And if you can solve it better than anyone else, you'll make money. And when I was able to say, okay, well, if I know people are out there searching for a solution, if I can turn that person into a lead and sell that to the person that can solve that problem, it was easy for me to position myself to make money. So right time and at right place at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. Timing is everything, and well, that's actually a very good point of view that you just shared. Asking yourself whether you would buy from you. I think very few people actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and you have to be extremely hard on yourself too. Like, look at it like not from, your eyes, try to be your customer and say, would you, or even from your own eyes, like, honestly, would I take action on this? If you're watching yourself and you're selling a product, like, is this making sense? Do I believe me? I mean, there'll be a lot of times I'll watch a video. I'm like, I don't believe me right now. Like, I need more examples. I need something else because I don't even believe me, even though it's true what I'm saying. I don't believe me. And then I'll make that adjustment, and it typically works.
Mm-hmm. Well, what were you doing before internet marketing?
Before internet marketing, I was in real estate. I had a small little net branch mortgage company. Before that, well, there's actually a few things that happened before that. But growing up, I wanted to play sports. I played American football, and
Mm.
went to college on a football scholarship. And then out of college, kind of fell into real estate, and it when the economy collapsed, the internet kind of found me. So,
Oh, that's a
yeah.
good way to put it. The internet found me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, how does your typical day look like? Because I know you get a lot done, and for me personally, I one of my struggles from day to day is getting the things that I want to get done in the time frame that I want to. And I know you can read a lot of personal development books, and you can have a scheduler, and you can do a lot of things, but it comes down to a few habits, right? So what do you think are those habits for you, and what does your typical day look like?
Absolutely. And I think schedule and routine is very important. And I will tell you, if you're waking up and you're finding it hard to like find out what it is that you're doing, typically or what to do, typically there's something that's not aligned, like with either what you're doing or you just don't know what to do. So a lot of times, like if you're like, I don't know what to do all day, that might mean you might need to go find a mentor or someone in your space and figure out what they do so you can get on that path versus just like throwing your hands up in the air and be like, I'm lost. So for me, it's very structured. You know, I focus on a couple of things. Number one, if I, well, I'll get into like actually what I do, but I'll tell you the things that
Yeah.
have to be done every day. So for me, fitness, okay, getting some kind of physical activity or working out is important. If your body and your mind is not fit, you can't deal with the stresses of being a business owner or entrepreneur, period. Over time, it will catch up with you. Um, I truly believe that because as an entrepreneur, there's always ups and downs. It's never going to just be go straight up, and you're never going to have problems. You're always going to have issues. So you have to be physically fit and mentally tough, which leads me to number two. I have a get better session each and every day for an hour. Close my door, watch a video or a training, a product that I bought, courses that I have, listen to an audio book or something, an hour minimum a day. Typically, there's a lot more than that. And then quality time with family, an hour minimum. Usually it's more than that with my daughter. I pick her up from school every day. So for me, that's really important to keep those things grounded, because you see so many people, they go, and they wake up and then their family doesn't know who they are, and then they end up getting divorced, they lose all their money, and then it's like this big cycle of things that they didn't take care of. So take care of home. So those are the three things that have to be done each and every day. Now, in terms of like, what do I do? Like when I wake up, it's pretty much routine. I wake up, cup of green tea. I don't drink coffee. Work out first thing in the morning, get it over with. The hardest part of that is getting out of bed. So typically my alarm clock goes off at 4:30 a.m. And people,
Oh
man,
wow.
that's early. Yeah. Like, so I'm up at 4:30 and I'm already done with my workout no later than 6. So that for me is hard, but when you're done, it's still dark outside and you know that you already got that part out of the way. At that point, it's kind of getting caught up with things that I need to do, like going over my schedule, like this, like podcast today, or things like that, making sure that I'm on track with things I have to do, and I'll spend that time over like breakfast, breakfast, and just kind of hanging out and chilling. And then my team comes in typically between 9 and 10, so we kind of have an agenda and team meetings and things like that. And then from typically 11:30 to like 1, I have it open for podcast interviews and things like that where I can get stuff done. And then immediately after this, I have my get better sessions, where again, like I told you earlier, watch an audio, read a book, do something like that, go get my daughter, come back, and then typically at that point, I meet with my team, make sure we're hitting all of our goals, getting the right leads in, what's happening with conversions. And then for the end of the day, it's usually tweaking things. So a lot of people come to me and they go, I want you to help me scale. Like, I want you to help me get more leads and more traffic. I need to spend more. And I truly believe that's a myth. I believe that you can actually scale without spending more. And that could be by just simply improving conversions on all fronts. So if I can get more leads, if I can get better conversions, I can spend the exact same amount of money, but scale and get more people in front of what I have to offer. Whereas most entrepreneurs, when they think of scaling, they go, I just got to spend more. And then when they go spend more, it doesn't convert like they thought. Something happens, and they're like, well, now I need to spend less. I'm broke now because I spent all my profits. So for me, I have a reverse mindset. I'm constantly every single day trying to improve percentages of on every front, on upsells, on bumps, on down sales, on everything. And then I'm slowly strategically scaling percentages of my revenue versus I just need to scale. All right. So that could be like, let's say every month whatever I made, I'm going to scale 10% into marketing versus I'm just going to put 50 grand this month. Why? Because we had a good month last month. If I had a month that was like ridiculously better than the prior, I would go in and try to make those numbers better before I would spend more to the same thing, if that made sense. So those are little things that I do.
Awesome. No, that makes tremendous sense. And just the last few months, I was overcoming my own fear of spending money on traffic. Right. I've always spent money on traffic, but I was always very conservative. I relied heavily on organic traffic from YouTube and social media. But as you know, being a traffic expert yourself, you know that that's cool, free leads, quote unquote free leads,
Right.
but there's no control. So
Absolutely.
even if you have a great month, then how do you replicate it? It's not that easy. So one thing that I did was, okay, how do I get the cost per lead down before how do I spend more? So I think that is a great approach that you just shared, because I think most people have that misconception where they think scaling immediately means spending more.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
let's answer that question. How do you do it?
yeah. How do you do
So,
it? So
with this is what I would tell anyone, because for me, I want to help your audience get better, more leads at lower cost. And this is something that I've really started to do more over time and getting better over time and realizing that if someone's not buying your product, it's because there's a disconnect between what your product is and what it will do for them. Period. They're not buying because they just don't want to buy. They're buying because they don't believe you. They don't think you can solve their problems. There's an objection. There's something going on in their mind that is preventing them from taking that next step. Your goal as an advertiser selling a product is just connect the dots. If the customer believes that your product or service is going to get them over the edge or get them a specific result, and it answers all their objections and all their questions, they're going to opt in, they're going to buy. So if you're having trouble with cost per lead, or you're seeing yourself scale and things not working, what I would do is just start answering more of the objections that they may have. So it could be like, well, I'm selling this product. What are some of the things my customer could be saying that's preventing them from buying? And then just write all those things down. So then you're just answering those objections throughout your next blog post or emails. And that's what you focus on, putting that content out, answering all those objections, sending them right back to your product. What most people do is they keep trying to just, let me go fix the email. I have this sales letter that I wrote. Let me go doing like something else and like keep that same thing over and over again. And the person's you're not solving anything. There's still the same objection. You haven't answered it. So if I'm you, I focus on those things, just constantly trying to overcome the objections that your customer has, and you'll notice your lead costs will go down, because at some point you'll just trigger the one that you weren't even thinking about. And that kind of goes in line with what I was saying, how people sometimes they would like, they're not seeing their business from another set of eyes, right? So when you get to start answering those questions in terms of the objections that people have, you start to go, I can't believe I didn't answer that. Like, I would be thinking that same thing, and I would want to know the answer to that, and then I would be ready to buy.
yeah, and that's where it also helps to have a team that can give you that constructive criticism. So
Absolutely.
yeah, awesome. So about traffic, what do you think right now? Because there are so many people that still struggle with traffic. They think, oh no, I don't have any traffic, or I need more traffic, and we know that traffic is, I mean, it's not unlimited, but pretty much, right? There's so much traffic. So traffic is very rarely the real problem. It's usually a conversion problem that people have, right? But when it comes to traffic, what would be today like your favorite platforms, where you're getting, the best cost per lead and, cost per customer as well, and that you would recommend for somebody who's just getting started with their traffic spend?
Absolutely. Well, I like, and I get asked this question a lot, and I focus on 5 platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, and Instagram. So those are the 5 that I focus on. I think step 1 is to understand the platform you're marketing on. So, I say this all the time: Facebook advertising, Instagram, Twitter, these platforms are all interruption marketing platforms, meaning no one asked to see anything that you're promoting, right? No one woke up today saying, I want to go buy on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Have you ever woke up and said, I'm going to go over there and buy? It just doesn't happen, right?
No.
So when people are advertising, we can't understand why somebody didn't buy when it's like, well, what's going on with this funnel? It's getting clicked. Why aren't they buy? They didn't wake up to buy anything, right? So that's step number one. So if you're looking to make more sales fast, then you don't go to a billboard advertising, which is interruption marketing. It's no different than the billboard you see out on the streets. You go to search traffic. So I would suggest using YouTube or Google if you want like instant sales, because you can get a person in the act of searching or looking at a problem. All right, that's different. So if you're going to go buy a new barbecue grill for your backyard, you're going to go on Google, what's the best barbecue grill? And you're going to go make your decision and buy. You're not going to go to Facebook and go, let me go through the news feed and try to find the best barbecue grill, right? So that right there is like, I don't understand. Like, I think that social media advertising should support what you're doing. So what you should be doing is spending your time answering the objections of your product and boosting those to audiences that you feel are more likely to be interested in what you have, and then taking segments of those audiences and then advertising your products directly to them. So to make that make sense to a novice or person just getting started, let's say I'm selling, I don't know, these pens, right? Mm-hmm. So I would be putting content about the pen, like type of plastic they would use. Is it biodegradable? Like how much like the materials cost, or why the ink lasts longer. And this is just every day I would just be talking about the pen, not necessarily selling the pen, just doing that. And then maybe I'm boosting this to like Office Max and Staples and people that would be going to places that are looking to buy pens. So then they've seen all this content from me and they're like, this person obviously knows pens. Then I'd be running another ad of people that watched a specific amount of time of those content videos, or people that hit my capture page. I'd be marketing my direct offers directly to them on the back end. So at that point, now that they've watched me do content videos, I can say, hey, you've been watching videos of me tell you everything you need to know about this pen. I got a special deal. Get 2 pens for the price of 1 right now. I hope you enjoy them. I'll get it out to you free plus shipping. Like if you just lived in that zone, you'd win. But what does that take? It takes work. It takes you putting out content. It takes you like managing that and setting all those little things up. That's if you want to be effective on social media. That's what you're going to have to do. Now, can you get lucky and put an ad up and target a broad market? Clearly, but that's why you see this happening. Last month was 50 grand. This month I lost everything because for whatever reason, your billboard showed in front of the right amount of vehicles that passed it that day. Next month, you had a different crowd driving on that freeway, seeing the billboard had no interest, right? So you never want to allow like social media to dictate like who's in front of your stuff. Let your audience build naturally, and then stay in front of the people that are actually expressing interest.
That is a great example, because I think a lot of people that claim that social media is not working for them is because they are not doing that part of the equation, which is the actual value that you're supposed to add to these people before they buy from you. So if you're selling cars, well, put out content about cars before you attempt to sell the car. So I think that's awesome. Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your current business, because since I met you, you've had quite a few different projects, and I'd love to get caught up as well with what you're doing today and how that can help our listeners.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of things, as you just mentioned, but I've always stayed in my lane in terms of traffic and lead generation, and I think that people need to play to their strengths. So I always will sell courses and train and do that because I think that like sharpens the sword. It keeps me sharp. It lets me hear the problems that people are having. And I think that ultimately is the strength of what I have, is being like actually in the trenches. Like when you see ads from me, I'm actually setting those up. Like it's not my ads I run, because I think that's my like superpower, right? So over the last few years, we've shifted our focus to actually more of a lead generation company. So we have, for example, I have a client, long story short, guy's extremely successful, and he was in real estate. And at one point he was the number 1 real estate agent in the country for several years, was on Oprah. I mean, this guy is a beast. So we were standing in this like multi-million-dollar house. It was a $20 million house. And he pointed, we were out on the deck, and he pointed out there and he's like, hey man, like, back in 2006, I bought that house for $14 million cash. And he's like, when the market collapsed, I sold it for $9 million. And the guy that bought it was in your industry. And I'm like, well, what do you mean my industry? He's like, he was in the lead generation business. And this is a good lesson for people to like to just think about. I could have easily at that point been like, okay, cool, I'm on my way to buying $9 million cash homes, and at that point, I there was no way. This was a few years ago that I would have been able to do that. Now I've made millions online, but making millions and being able to go, here's 9 million for a house cash is two different things, right? Or
Yeah.
even 20 million. So I'm like, well, how does this guy do that, right? So long story short, I went and set up a meeting with him, and he told me what the guy did, and the guy basically generated leads for businesses. So like he would generate leads for insurance companies, and he would find people that were basically getting customers for like $300 or $500, and he could go in and cut it in half and generate those leads and make money per lead. So I said, interesting, right? So after that, I started setting up all these deals, and long story short, connected with a bank, and we now generate leads for an actual mortgage bank. They're the 17th largest bank in the nation, and they buy leads for $150 a pop. Um,
Nice.
in fact, I think I got one of their checks sitting here.
Cool.
Um, yeah, I mean, all the time. I mean, this one's like 15 grand right here. There's another one. I mean, they buy every single week, just like hundreds of leads. And um, I don't say that to like brag about the money. The reason I want to bring that up is because a lot of times, like in your head, you may be like, there's no way I can afford a Rolls Royce or $20 million house cash. And a lot of times you're already doing something that would allow you to do that. You're just doing it in a different way. So for years, for the past decade, I've taught training, I've made millions, I've had events, I've done this, but never would it position me to do that. One simple shift: find businesses that basically are doing things that would buy these leads for hundreds of dollars because it's worth that to them, generate the leads for them, and make an absolute killing. So we started doing that. That's one of our clients. We work with a lot of businesses doing that now, and we're launching our new company. Well, it's not necessarily new, but we've changed the model, setupmyads.com, to being a lead generation company for digital agencies. So digital agencies that serve businesses, we basically will generate business leads for them. And we've kind of gone the whole route of more being a lead generation service, not an agency where you like pay us monthly and we do the work for a business. We actually target the agency, and then that way the agency can just focus on servicing the client versus generating a new business. So we've got kind of plans to generate a lot of companies that way, where we're just kind of being that middle person for different industries. So yeah, I mean, we've kind of stay in our lane, but we see a clear path to like, something really cool. So, and it's no headache. It's pretty easy. The lead comes in and you make money. In fact, I'll say this and I'll be quiet here. When we first started doing it, it felt like something wasn't right. Like I felt like I was doing something illegal or wrong. Because like, think about it. You've generated leads online. Imagine every lead you got paid you $150. Just think about that. You didn't have to sell anything. It was done. Like the lead came in, 150, 150, 150 all day. That happens. And you could go find clients right now that will pay you per lead, and you can make money. So it's just a little shift that everybody has it in them.
No, I love it. I love it. And it's just sometimes it's just thinking outside of the box as well.
Yeah.
Where
And listening too, right?
yeah,
Because had
yeah,
that guy said, the guy was in, like, I was thinking to myself, he said, the guy that bought the house from me for 9 million cash was in your industry. I could have easily been like, oh, cool, I'm in the lead generation business too, and left it at that. Like, because I was, but I wasn't doing it the way that guy was doing it, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
So I guess the moral in a way is okay, if you hear that somebody's doing something, even if you think that you know it all, or oh, but I'm also doing that, you go find out what are they doing differently or better than you, and you go learn from them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
Absolutely.
that. So what's the website again? Setupmyads.com.
Setupmyads.com. So
And
it's two fronts. We
uh-huh.
actually, on the back end, we target agencies and we generate customers for them. But if you go to the site, we do take on customers as well, and we will help them. But we don't really market the front end that way. We market more to agencies and we do the marketing for them. But if someone stumbles on it, we are a digital agency and we can help your business as
Right.
well.
So you're doing more B2B right now than
Right.
yeah. Awesome. I love it. By the way, I couldn't help but seeing that Lakers hat in the back of your shelf. What do you think
Big
about
fan.
what do you think about
Excited.
LeBron?
You know what? I'm a Laker fan. I don't, I'll be honest, like I was not the biggest LeBron fan. Like I'm a Kobe Bryant fan and everyone tries to say, "Oh, LeBron's better than Kobe." So I'm old school, but I'm more of a Laker fan than anything. So as long as we win, then I'll support whoever's on the team.
I mean, come on, guys. It's about time you get back to your
Yeah, I
prime. I mean,
know. We got
what's
to get
going
back to
on?
the championship. Yeah.
Well, Vince, thank you so much for your time today. I think people got a lot of value from our interview. Any final words of inspiration or any advice you would like to give to people just starting out with their business?
I would tell them just keep following you.
Oh,
That's it. You guys found a good mentor, and it's important. I mean, honestly, like I found the right mentor. I could have found a mentor that taught me to spam people's inboxes and buy fake emails off online and spam people.
yep.
It's so important to find the right person. And you guys that are watching this, you found someone that's put a lot of energy and money and time. I mean, every event I go to, I see you, and I know it's not easy to get there. You're coming from Chile, and it's
Yep.
just amazing. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, my friend. I look forward to speak to you again about potential collaborations.
Absolutely.
I love what you do. I love your values. I love what you teach, and I believe that when we find people like that inspire us, and where we see so much, so much value, so much potential, we have to do something about it.
Awesome. All right, let me know anything you need. You know I got you.
Yes. Yes, my friend. So thank you so much. I look forward to see you again. And thanks to everybody for listening and watching, if you're watching this on YouTube as well. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Vince.
Take care.
Bye.